Yay, I'm excited. So welcome to Crossfaded.
Episode 4.
We are talking about my absolute favorite conspiracy theory today. Literally, so excited. So we are talking about the Denver International Airport. But before we get started, I'm sipping on a mimosa.
What do I got today? I got... wedding cake, purple punch Oreos. It's called Cosmic Cake.
Ooh.
Check that out from Hudson Cannabis.
So we are podcasting pretty early this morning because I have to work. But I thought mimosas were pretty on point for that. So you want to do a little cheers here, man?
I absolutely do.
Heck yeah.
Cheers.
Okay. So while you finish that, I'm going to start with a little bit of the history of the Denver International Airport, and then we'll dive right into the conspiracy theories, because honestly, there is so much with this one that I almost considered asking Tiva if we could do a two-parter, but meh. So the Denver International Airport was set to be built in 1993, and it was to replace the previous airport that was very small and had a lot of issues with it.
I heard a bunch about that previous airport.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
It had a lot of problems with it. I think it was called the Stapleton Airport, but Denver International Airport was built to be one of the biggest airport hubs in the Midwest.
Fun fact, it is the biggest airport in this country, and it's the third biggest internationally. So that's pretty crazy.
It's huge. I've been there. It's wild. So,
it's over double the size of the second biggest airport here, which I think is crazy. That's so, oh my God.
Yeah, it's really wild. I've actually been to Denver International Airport, and it's very easy to understand why there would be conspiracy theories around it, because it is a experience. So if you've never been, I highly encourage it. And for my stoner friends, weed's legal there, so
how fun.
Oh my God, I'll tell you the story of how I got so high in Denver that I fell asleep in a Barnes and Noble after this. It was really interesting.
God. That's hysterical.
So yeah, it was delayed 2 years in being built. So it was supposed to be finished in 1993. And it ended up taking 2 more years after that. So it actually was finished being built on February 28th, 1995. And it was also almost $2 billion over budget.
I heard that it was $2 million over budget. $2 billion over budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. $2 billion. Can you imagine being hey, manager, I think that this project is going to go $2 billion over the budget we have. What the hell?
Right. Well, I know that's where the conspiracy theories start to swirl, because why was it so heavily over budget and taken 2 extra years?
I have questions too. Why build it 45 minutes outside the city when there was an airport in the city? Couldn't we have gotten more land? I know people are probably going to say no, same way that colleges in the city struggle with parking. I get it, you can't just make land out of nowhere, but I do think it was an odd choice that it is so far from Denver, since it's supposed to be a major international city. Typically those are within the city usually.
Yeah. So Denver International Airport is also referred to as DIA often.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to use that pretty often, but we're just going to jump right into the conspiracy theories. So the first one, and again, with many other conspiracy theories that we've already talked about, there are layers to it.
Definitely.
There are a couple that are really hard left, and there are a couple that are that makes 100% sense.
So with this, I think it'll be fun for us to tell you which of them we believe. Maybe there's some that we don't believe. I have some funny stories that I found along the way. Again,
I
may
found
not
one
be
funny story,
believable.
but that's your
The stories,
your
are maybe not. It just depends if they're relatable and if it sits with you. I don't know. The stories are usually from someone, and so it can not always be the most accurate, but...
So if you look at an aerial view of the Denver International Airport, it kind of resembles the shape of a swastika.
I saw this.
Right, and there is no denying that it looks like that. It literally looks like that.
Someone that I saw talking online, though, said that it looks like that, but if you need planes to fly north, south, east, and west, and be able to take off what sort of shape are you hoping for?
Right,
was sort
right.
of what they said.
And that's
but again,
fine.
do other airports look like this? I didn't do the research. I should have.
Typically,
now that
no.
I'm
Typically,
here.
it's like almost like a straight line, and occasionally there will be like a left one, but like for the most part, it's usually like you're
so
kind of
normally
going
it's like
other
if you
ways.
want to go east, you have to go like north and then east.
Yes, yeah. So once the plane is in the air, it like takes off this way and then starts to curve that way towards
Okay.
the east. So yeah, it's really wild, and like that lends to a couple of the other ones. But the Stapleton Airport was not smartly laid out, basically, and this is why
The Stapleton was the original
Yes,
airport. Okay.
and that's why this was built. The parallel runways at Stapleton were way too close to each other for safe landing and in bad weather, which happened around 150 days of the year, because it's Denver and snow happens there. Weird.
Right.
But it also cut the number of arrivals an hour from 80 to 36 at the Stapleton Airport.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there were hella delays. It was wild. But yeah, DIA doesn't have the same problem. It has that nefarious shape of looking like a swastika, at least from the air. Taken on its own, a shape could be brushed off like that. It's just, oops, a
Right.
mistake, like a piece of planning overlooked, whatever.
I think that's what's important in a lot of this. One of these things might not resonate with you. You might be like, seems random. I think the problem is like there's too many random things in this one location that start to be suspect. So that's what you should think about as we're chatting.
So yeah, combined with everything else, it all kind of looks odd, and it lends into other pieces of the conspiracy theory.
Right.
One of the biggest conspiracy theories about DIA is that it is involved in biological warfare.
So what is, let's just get down to it in case someone listening doesn't know as much about biological warfare. What is that broadly?
Well, if you want to talk about another conspiracy theory version, it's COVID.
Okay.
So it's like the government releases like an illness
Right.
or like
Okay.
something like that to kind of control the population.
Yeah. Right.
So like biological warfare would be like disease is released.
I mean, you could even go as far as say there's that whole conspiracy theory about Bill Gates and farmland.
Yes,
Even. Like
yeah.
this could even go down to food. Okay, so biological warfare basically is any way that like an agency, we'll say, because it could be anyone, decides to control by some means the general population. That's the farthest out I think that we can go of like biological warfare. They're trying to hurt you through some means that you usually have access to.
And like I said, a lot of it is usually population control. That's like the main underlying thing with biological warfare is maintaining the population, because the earth can only hold so many people, right? Like, so we're getting pretty up there in numbers with 8 billion people on the planet. It's pretty easy to believe that, you know, governments would release this upon the general populace to control the population.
All right, so that's biological warfare. So people think that this DIA is involved with biological warfare?
Yeah, and there's a couple different reasons why, and I kind of want to hold off on my favorite piece of this, which I
We have
printed
pictures
material.
for you guys today. Yay!
Yes.
Because showing you guys on the phone just didn't really cut it last time. We probably still will do a TikTok along with these pictures so that we can chat about them a little more. But at least you guys watching on YouTube at X-Faded Pod will be able to check out the images.
Yeah. So one of the biggest pieces of this is there's like a stone in the airport, and like I said, I've been there, so I've seen it. There is this like keystone basically that says like, oh, this was created by this international airplace, whatever, and in it has the letters AUAG, which is like pretty easy to brush off the fact that it would be gold and silver, which is like the scientific like on the periodic table. That's what silver and gold is, and it makes sense because there was a mining community in Colorado for a very long time. However, AUAG also could represent a strain of hepatitis, which could be used as a biological weapon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I think it stands for Australian, and then I don't remember the other AG part of it, but AU stands for Australian.
Wow.
It's so wild. Like, literally, I've seen it, and it, like, truly does make sense. So, yeah, it's really interesting. So yeah, that's one of the things. The other thing that's weird about the Keystone or whatever, it's like just a commemorative like block of like concrete or granite or whatever. It has an organization, and I of course didn't write it down, that has an organization that doesn't exist.
What?
It literally does not exist.
What do you mean?
So, like, let me look it up for a hot second here because it's wild.
Wait, let me tell you guys a fun fact while that's happening, just about the Denver International Airport. You might not know this one. So a lot of places, if you've ever seen barbed wire on a place, typically barbed wire would be to keep someone in or out, right? We either don't want people hopping the fence to get somewhere for free, like a concert, so they're putting barbed wire facing the outside so that people can't jump in, right? So barbed wire's purpose is typically it's positioned on the fence a certain way for a reason, okay? So the Denver International Airport has barbed wire all around it. And theirs is literally facing like it would a prison of keeping people in.
Perfect.
Why? Like, wouldn't you think the safety of an airport is like you have to go through security, so nobody that didn't do that should be getting in? Why, if all these people went through security and are deemed safe, why are we worried about them potentially jumping the fence away from the airport? What's going on in the airport that we have to have barbed wire facing the inside of the safe people? Like, this is crazy to me.
This is so get into this.
One small piece, but it's like this is what makes a conspiracy theory. It's like all of these little facts together start to just add up to be very strange things. You might be like, oh, someone accidentally installed the barbed wire wrong. Okay, well, there's just more and more. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is the stone.
Okay.
And we can post a picture of it.
Let's show the people. Let's try and show them. Okay, they can see that.
So there's a Freemasonic inlay in it, which like the Freemasons are like charitable human beings, right?
Yeah.
On the bottom it says New World Airport Commission, and that does not exist.
I did see something about this, and then these are the ones that when I get to something like this, if I don't have enough information, I just am like, I'm out of here, I'm done reading this.
Yeah.
But that is so interesting. So the whole organization doesn't exist?
No, straight up it does not exist.
And they just wrote it down on this rock?
They put it on there.
Do you think it used to exist?
I don't think so. Like,
do we just not know it exists? How would we know if it did exist? If it's like a secret society?
I don't know, but I have more notes on like it being a secret society. So this lends into the next one that I'm going to talk about is the fact that the New World Order is a secret society.
Oh, for sure.
That like absolutely believes in
I don't know if the viewers are like on the page with us on that of what it is and everything like that. Do you want to just give a brief what is the New World Order to someone that's just never heard of that?
So the New World Order is basically like a secret society that 100% believes in preserving like very wealthy people in the instances of these biological warfare occasions. So like there is more that we'll get into with that, but mostly it's just like they plan for the apocalypse. So what will happen after? That's why it's called the New World Order, is like they're planning for the new world after everything's gone to shit.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, the New World Airport Commission, an organization that doesn't actually exist, might be lending to the New World Order because New World.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it tends.
That's for another day, though.
Right. It's wild. Like the fact that like that's something completely on its own. Like the New World Order is a completely separate outside entity outside of this. We honestly probably should have touched that before we did this, but it's fine. We'll go backwards. But it's just so wild. The contributors listed as part of the so-called New World Airport Commission, including an architecture firm and a metal company, do actually exist, and they make buildings and metals. Probably, because like it's very not well documented what these companies do. So like
because it's a whole like
they're probably part of the New World Order.
This is definitely under the table in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah, 100% it is. And the reason I believe this is because there are massive amounts of tunnels underneath the Denver International Airport.
I saw so much about that. I heard that there's like a 5-part underground like system, and I saw this kid that tried to like check it out on TikTok, and literally security guards came up to him and were being so weird about it. And they were like, it's just for luggage. That's all that goes down there. Like, bro, why are you coming up to a TikToker then? Like, if all it is luggage, like, cool. Like, maybe one of you could, like, kindly bring him there for a minute and let him see that it's luggage and walk back out. And then, like, we'd be all set. And, like, you guys would be done with him and he would be done with you. Like, it just seems like there's easy ways to, like, if this is really all just a facade, okay, this kid has a TikTok account. You found it. The security guards literally, like, TSA, like, documented him, found his account, found out he was doing this. Like, they had an issue with him doing this.
Yeah, and that's
it's
what I
like,
mean.
if all it is because then when they talked to him, they said all it is luggage. All that's down there is luggage. Okay, you don't want to steal anything, but bring him with this armed security officer. Let him know you'll have 3 minutes to record, and then we're going back upstairs and call it a day.
Well, that's what I mean, and I would feel better about debunking that part of it if people were allowed to tour it.
Even just
They
like
keep it
one
so
or two
secretive.
people and show it off, and then everyone will be like, oh, okay, that was stupid. Sorry about it.
Like, do you know of the ossuaries underneath France?
No.
Okay, so the ossuaries in France are underneath the city, and it's where they started, like, putting bones because they ran out of space for graves, basically.
Okay. Sort of like some of those, there's parks like that.
Yes.
We've gone on the ghost tours.
Yes. Those are open to the public to tour.
Right.
I feel like if I wanted to see the tunnels underneath this massive airport, those should be open to the public.
Right.
Just for, if nothing else, curiosity.
And to recoup that $2 billion that they went over budget. How much did this airport even cost?
Right. So the airport is a home to a number of tunnels, and a lot of people have speculated that the tunnels would be where the New World Order would hide all their people that they deem eligible to be part of the New World.
Wait, so this is sort of crazy. I have something that sort of goes along with this. I think this is really weird. So we've already gone over the fact that this land is 45 minutes, that the airport on is like 45 minutes from the actual city of Denver. It's a little bit outside of town. It's much like if you live in a city, think of some country area that's like a little ways away that you could drive to. That's basically where this is. And so the really weird thing is, this is not like middle of city Denver that you're like, okay,
No,
cool place to live.
Denver.
But all of these people have bought land near it. And this is just public information. So people like the Queen of England, prime ministers, different presidents. Why are all these people randomly buying land 45 minutes outside of Denver, right near this airport that's near nothing else? Like,
it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
There.
When I tell you that I've been there, and it's the weirdest experience I think I've ever had in my whole life. Like, it's wild. I had to have a friend pick me up from the airport, and I was like, okay, cool, we'll be at your house in like 10 minutes. Because that's like how it is anywhere, right? Like, you take an Uber and you can be there. No, this is in the middle of nowhere, and there's mountains surrounding you. It's such a weird experience. Even flying into it, I was like, this is weird. So yeah, there's a buttload of tunnels, and there's a tram as well. And the tram is open to the public, but it's literally just a very short tram.
Oh my God, yes, this kid rode the tram until he couldn't ride it anymore. And when he got off was when the people met up with him to be like, what are you doing here? And he was recording, trying to find something out. And they were like, you're doing the most, stop.
Right.
Like,
so the tram goes between the concourse and a failed automated baggage system. And that sounds normal enough, right? But there is definitely something weird about the fact that this automated baggage system, mainly that it cost a lot of money, and it never worked. Like, from day one, it literally never worked.
Why?
The system failed pretty spectacularly when it first was tested and just never got better. And it's one of the reasons why DIA was delayed in opening. So, like,
that's insane.
Right. So by 2005, most of the airport's concourses had abandoned this automated like baggage thing completely, making both its price and long delays feel even more like a failure. Or at least a really weird way to cover up the fact that there are all these tunnels, which to me feels like, okay, bunker-ish, you know, for when the world goes down, right? So, like, to me, I'm like, that is a fucking bunker.
So, okay, the bunker thing is a real theory. Then there's this other guy I saw on TikTok that this was weird. And I didn't actually verify this. So I will verify it and I'll post in one of our poster stories that this is like a verified human. But like, I think it had like This is like a popping story. I'm pretty sure it's real. So there's this guy named Jeffrey Donson. He was a man from Ohio, okay, and he was determined to check out all 5 underground levels. Obviously, there is 5 underground levels because this is like confirmed across multiple sources. So whether you believe any of these stories or not, that is true. They exist. What's in there, they say is just whatever, this baggage thing, but whatever. So this guy was determined to see it. He dressed up as a construction worker. So did the kid in the TikTok.
I've heard this story.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So he dressed up as a construction worker and found a door that he knew like was going to go in. It was locked shut. He couldn't get in. So he literally sat there and waited. He waited over 3 hours and finally someone came out. So he was able to get in. He saw all these things and took all of these photos, apparently, of what was in there. He saw a lab with containers of water and animals, containers of water and humans, sort of like a laboratory type thing. And he posted them all on the internet when he got home. Apparently, very shortly after, the photos all got wiped. No one has heard from him. He can't be found for interviews. This man just sort of like dropped off the face of the earth. Maybe he's in there. Who knows?
Right.
Maybe he's in one of those tubes, if we believe that theory. But that would be another theory. And maybe it's a mix, right, June? Like, maybe there is bunkers, but there is also some sort of human laboratory.
So this is lending perfectly into my next point, is that there are also 5 buried buildings.
What?
So when they were building this, the buildings were somehow built incorrectly. And instead of like, you know how like when something doesn't work out, or like maybe it was a construction building that they used and then like didn't need anymore and would typically just tear down. Instead, they just built them and then buried them.
What do you mean?
So instead of being dismantled, they were buried.
They just like knocked it over and
No,
said, like...
they literally just were like, okay, well, we're going to build up the dirt around this. So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like they probably connected these tunnels to these buried buildings as a bunker.
Yeah, right.
So, like, construction workers ultimately blew the whistle on this in very weird practice, finding the original testimony on the subject almost impossible.
It's really not.
Right. So, like, it's just, truly, it's wild to me that, like, no one knows about. This is one of the, like, underground kind of conspiracy theories.
This is one of those things, though, that it's like, if you guys have noticed, even just with what we're talking about, there's so many things involved. Like, these construction workers may have thought, this is a little weird, right? But this is like one job, and realistically, like, who knows how many construction companies worked on this? And like, it's just like sort of like you have no idea what something has like happened or gone through before you. So it sort of is like, how did people not think anything of this? But at the same time, there was so many people involved, if this is what we're saying, that like no one person could have really figured it out. They were working, doing their one task there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, it's very, very odd to me that they wouldn't just like dismantle it and take the building down.
It's weird.
It's so weird to me that it was buried. Like, never in history, like, well, I can't say that, but like, never has it been like formally documented that like buildings just got buried just because we just felt like it, instead of just doing the easy thing of blowing it up.
Right, I literally thought it got buried. I thought they like knocked it over and then we're like, okay, let's bury it, which I still thought was really weird.
Like, yeah, it's very strange that they buried it. Like, very, very strange that it's buried.
So odd.
So, like, there's that. And like I said, I think that the tunnels definitely do connect to these buildings as some form of either testing laboratory or as a bunker for when the New World Order takes over.
Or, as the security guards would like to say, it's just for baggage.
Sure.
But
that's
like,
why there's 5
see
massive buildings
let's
that were buried.
see the 5 levels of baggage. I'm super interested. Krispy Kreme lets you see how they make their fucking donuts. Are you kidding
me?
You
can tour the Coke factory. Like, they won't tell you the secret ingredients that are in it, but like,
this is nuts.
You can tour it. You can see it being made.
It's insane.
Right. So like,
I
it's
can't
just,
even believe it.
It's so wild to me. This whole like thing is just so wild. And this is why it's my favorite, is because it's like one, like you said, one thing of this could be like explained away.
Right.
But all of the things stacking on each other, and all of these conspiracy theories touch each other in some way, shape, or form. So the next one that I have is Lucifer.
Okay, I found out about him. I actually didn't know that was his name, and for a while, like, I was literally writing notes about the guy, and finally I came across someone who explained that that was his name.
So it's a massive horse statue outside of the
You don't have a
building. No, I
picture?
don't have a picture.
Oh.
It's a ginormous Mustang. I don't even know like the dimensions on it, but it is huge. When I tell you that I drove past this thing and I was like, what the fuck is that? That is weird as hell. Ginormous Mustang with glowing red eyes. All day, every day. The eyes are never off.
So freaky.
It's weird. It's
is
super,
really
super weird to see. It's 900 pounds.
The guy that was making it, this is like really sad. When he was working on like the head, it fell off or something when he was still making it, and it killed him.
The leg.
Oh. And it killed him.
Yeah,
and then they finished it and they put it
so
up on display.
The artist that like created Lucifer, and Lucifer is a moniker. The actual name of the statue is Mustang. His name was Luis Jimenez. He died in 2006 when a piece of the sculpture's head broke off and severed an artery in his leg.
Oh my God.
And his kids finished the statue, and they were like, this is our dad's.
It's so tough. It's like, I don't know. That is the type of thing that like you would think someone that worked so long on something like would want to be remembered for their piece, but also like, yeah, like I just don't think if that was like my family member that was injured while working on it. I would have some
pretty negative feelings about this.
And like it's not super happy and mystical looking. Like I also feel like that's the other thing.
This thing is giant. When I tell you that it is big,
it's like creepy looking.
It's so scary looking. It's so scary looking. And like some people believe that it's cursed because it killed the artist. Some people believe that it represents the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Like that's wild to me. It's so scary in person. Like when I say that I felt like tiny, even just driving past this thing.
I can't even imagine.
Like I was I feel like this
big.
I feel like this big next to this ginormous blue statue with glowing red eyes, and I'm telling you, the eyes are never off.
They're on all the time. I did hear that
every
somewhere.
day.
That they were just
never
always
take
on.
the eyes off. They are always on.
It's
insane. So weird.
That's insane.
Also, how do they maintain that? Like I don't understand how you maintain that.
The Energizer Bunny.
Right, like, but like how? Like, I feel like there would be photos of maintenance on it, right?
Right,
like,
you'd think.
And I don't think I've ever seen any maintenance done on that horse. Which even is weirder to me.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
It's so weird. The whole thing about the Denver International Airport is so weird. So, like, if you're into this conspiracy theory, I would 100% suggest you go there. If for nothing else, to see Colorado because it's beautiful.
No, just go to the airport and fly home the same day.
Do
not go anywhere else.
Could you imagine? Honestly, when I went to Colorado, I had to go to the gas station and get some oxygen because I got super bad altitude sickness.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, you feel like you're hungover without like actually having drank because there's less oxygen.
So you bought oxygen?
Yeah, I had to. They sell them in like tiny cans at the fucking gas station, and I had to like huff it like a like a fucking inhaler because I was just so sick. I was I feel like I'm so hungover and I didn't drink anything. Like I had gotten high and went to the hot springs. I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I hate it. So I have a couple more points, but like I said, I'm holding off on my favorite one. So do you have anything cool that you want to add?
Any cool?
Because I have like a real life story that almost lends into the horse, but not really.
Do you know anything about these gargoyles? There's like all of these So I do have a few weird things about the airport. So there's these gargoyles all over. I don't know. Some people say that they're supposed to be a good thing. Like the gargoyles are supposed to represent some sort of like...
Historically, gargoyles are meant to be protective and like are good omens.
But then like they say weird things. Like I guess you could think it's normal for an airport, but the one says like, take me with you. Like I get they're flying.
Oh, I hate that.
But like it's just like
I hate that
sort of weird. Yeah, it's just like sort of uncomfortable given like the vibe of the rest of the airport. I saw though a girl's recording of she was sitting by it and said every so often it just said weird things and she recorded it and it said take your window. And I was like
a lot.
So yeah, so that was super uncomfortable. And then the other thing that was there's this ad in the airport and like I get it's just an ad, but like it's just odd. It's a sign and it has a reptile dressed as a construction worker on it. And it says, apologies for the noise. It takes really big drills to get to the underground. Just why did we need that?
The tunnels. The buildings that were buried.
It's just like it's just an odd thing. And then like it's also odd because like if the security guards are already having problems like this TikToker, they're trying to keep them out, why are you entertaining something like that? Like I would just be so annoyed as a worker of like
people are trying to get in there.
Right, and you're adding to it.
They're
like,
all up to something.
Yeah, it's so
Tiva,
it's
they're
so
up
weird.
to something there.
They also have 2 runways that usual planes can't use. It's rumored that they're government use only.
Shocker.
So, I mean, not that
New
that's
World
like
Order.
sketchy.
New
It's not
World
really
Order.
sketchy. I get it. Like it is a large airport, so like they have the space to be able to say like, oh, we have these government use only lanes, but just like one more thing to just throw in there.
Right. So I do have like a real life story of someone who worked there before we get into my favorite part of this.
That's so exciting.
So this dude Price, and that's his last name, he said, having poo-pooed everyone else's conspiracy theories, I do have an unbelievable tale of my own. And it's that the Denver International Airport is haunted.
Whoa.
And like, you know me, I love a good haunt story.
Oh, they're great.
So when Denver International was being built, I was a security officer and occasionally patrolled the construction site, which held several abandoned mobile home parks. The area had previously been known for occult practices, including rumors of satanic worship ceremonies, so it was often felt a little eerie. One evening, I saw a man walk into the mobile home we were using as an office. So I pulled up my car and walked into the building, noting a fresh set of footprints in the dirt leading up to the steps. I searched the whole premises, but he was gone. The back door and windows were held shut, and there was no way out except for the front door, which I had my eyes on the entire time. Nobody could have exited without me seeing them, but still, he wasn't there. And when I went back outside, his footsteps were also gone. Only mine remained. I still get the chills now thinking about it.
Oh.
What do you mean? First of all, it's weird as fuck that there were mobile homes just chilling while they were building this
That is
airport.
weird.
Secondarily, like, ew. Like, was it built on, like, native land? I hate that. If yes, that's horrible.
But like if you were gonna build this like largest airport, like one of these top internationally large airports, biggest in an area, are you really keeping like the mobile homes like as your build? Like this is a huge project. You have tons of money. Get them out of here.
Right.
Like what's going on?
Well, and I feel like if you're having mobile homes like that in the middle of fucking nowhere, because it's literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. When I say this, I like really want people to look how far outside of the city this is, because it is wild that it is in the middle of nowhere. Like you're asking,
it's crazy to me too. It's just like not convenient.
You're asking for grifters though. If you're just like,
Oh,
we're
for
building
sure.
this, so like here it is. Yeah, so fucking weird. So now we're gonna get into my favorite part of this conspiracy theory, because I've seen this in person. I've taken a picture with it. If I can find the picture, I will absolutely post it to the page.
Oh my god, we need it.
I
June,
really
we
hope
need
I
it.
still
Find
have it. I
it.
will.
Find it. We need it.
Dude, I think I went to Colorado in like 2016. It's so long ago. But it was a really haunting experience. So the biggest reason why I fully believe all of these, because there's not a doubt in my mind that this place is just a fucking weird experience, and that I can 100% believe that there's a conspiracy theory. I can believe that there's a secret society prepping for the apocalypse, all of that. I can believe all of that because of the murals. So, interesting fact about Colorado is that any building that gets built, a certain portion of the budget goes to the artwork that will decorate the building.
Okay.
And you kind of spoke about the gargoyles, which
Yeah.
part of the commission went into that. But the other part is these really weird murals that are there.
Eek.
And like the first one is called In Peace and Harmony with Nature. So I'm going to show you a picture of it. So there's a couple that I have. So this is In Peace and Harmony with Nature. And let's just talk about how fucked up that is as just a general visual. Like, that doesn't look like peace. That doesn't look like peace at all. So this first section of the mural shows brightly colored, horrific scenes of trees burning in the background, animals in glass cages, a girl lying in a coffin, and young people fleeing the scene while crying. And it's just dark and scary. And then, like, in the second section of the mural, we see a diverse number of children and animals coming around a futuristic plant. So this is the second portion of the mural. And it looks like, okay, cool. It looks like environmental destruction versus environmental healing. Easy to see, but there's more that meets the eye here, right? So in the first section of this part, the bird that's in the middle is the Quetzal bird, like this one that's behind glass. It's behind glass, which is weird. Like, it's not a cage, it's glass.
Right.
It's considered to be an allegory for extinction. Like, ew. You literally put this bird that is very incredibly rare, and it's in Mayan art all over the place for extinction. So it's like almost leading to that mass extinction event from like the biological warfare that we talked about earlier. And it's like some sort of sanctuary that, like, okay, here's this bird that's going to signify extinction, but we're going to make it better with this. Which is why, like, the greater overarching image of In Peace and Harmony with Nature is so wild, because, like, this is the first part of the mural. It's the first part you see. It's this giant destruction, and then you see this part that is literally like, yay, we love the earth. Oh my god, we should play that song. It's such a funny one.
The earth.
We love our planet.
We love the earth. It is our home.
So, like I said, I believe the New World Order is part of this simply because, like, they're promising something better after this mass extinction event is over. So then we move on to my favorite. Okay, so this is also like I said, you see the extinction event first, and then you see this.
So did the artist, like, was the artist told what to do? Was this, like, truly creative talent?
I think it was just creative license. He could have done anything he wanted to do, and this is what he chose.
And is this just, like, on brand for the artist, or do you think that the person asking for it wanted this, like, take?
I feel like he was commissioned, so they gave him some sort of direction. Like, you know how when, like, you've been given, like, a piece of art to do, and they're like, I have this general idea, but I give you creative license to do with it whatever you want.
So do you think they said, like, make it a little dark? Like, I prefer the dark
I
side.
think it was probably that New World Airport Commission.
Right.
That was like, here's our general idea, go with it.
Right.
And also, like, honestly, let's not forget the fact that he might be part of the New World Order.
Right, like, we don't even know.
We don't know. So then the next part of it is Children of the World Dream of Peace.
This is, I think, the worst one.
Yes, 100% it is. And in the first section of this mural, we see a gas-masked soldier wreaking havoc with a gun and a sword. There's also a caravan of refugees trudging onward away from him, hiding a child with a teddy bear, a dead child in someone's arms, and ruins everywhere. In the second section of this mural, there is a celebration of many young people with the same soldier dead below them. Doves rest on his body, and his sword is being dismantled by a kid with a hammer. Like, it's quite clear, like, that this symbolizes genocide in some way, shape, or form.
Well, like, this bird on the top one, that's literally usually a symbol of peace.
Right.
It's supposed to, and, like, it's getting killed.
Well, and then, like, the second one, which, again, you see this one first, and then the second one, you see the doves come together on his body. So, like, themes of genocide, death, and destruction are very clear in these murals. which easily goes along with the idea that the New World Order is creating this space for the after effect.
Right.
And they just, to me, they tell a story, right? There's 2 murals. They're huge. First of all, they're massive. When I tell you that this is
How
like
big?
a ginormous wall, like there's 2 walls that are huge. And like, I was only able to get like a portion of the mural in my photo because it's that fucking big. So it's wild. It goes along with everything else. And, you know, it tells a story, and, you know, in peace and harmony with nature, we see a picture of our society, which has already won with nature and now only recently are breaking away from being environmentally friendly. And then when we come to Children of the World, Dream of Peace, we show a great evil that was previously driven out of society and is currently working together. So the second section of the mural shows that evil has come back to society and might destroy it. And this, I think, is the most interesting part of this. So this is a very, very zoomed in portion.
It was actually in this one, you guys.
Of that. And it's very easy to miss. But the poem that's on it is haunting. And this is also massive when you see it in person. So it's super easy to read.
Like, would this just be like, I could, if I was standing, like, would I be shorter than the whole thing?
No, it would be about hip length.
Okay.
But, like, you would be able to read it very clearly.
Right.
So I want you to read this.
Okay. I was once a little child who longed for other worlds, but I am no more a child, for I have known fear, I have learned to hate. How tragic, then, is youth, which lives with enemies, with gallows ropes. Yet I still believe I only sleep today, that I'll wake up a child again and start to laugh and play. Harris Katcherberg, 14 years old, died December 18th, 1849, Auschwitz concentration camp.
Fucked. That is fucked.
That's crazy.
The fact that that is straight up just on a wall existing today, because those are never going to come down, is fucked. Like the gallows, the enemies, I want to be a child again, like wild.
It's
and then
sad. This was someone's like real thing.
Yeah, and the fact that it says Auschwitz concentration camp on the bottom is just like,
this is a
it makes it really,
14-year-old.
it makes it real.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so like the murals are just like, if nothing else, the murals fully cemented into me that this is a secret organization building a bunker and that this is what they were planning to do. There's going to be a mass extinction event and they're going to save all their peeps in these underground tunnels. It is truly a wild conspiracy theory. Like, and I'm not kidding, like a lot of this comes from the fact that I went there. And I was just very uncomfortable the entire time.
I'm like honestly glad I've never gone there. This is my new ocean that
God.
I don't want to go
Wait,
to.
before
My new body of water that I'm not interested in.
Before we fully end that on a really dark note, I want to tell a really fucking funny story.
Thank God, because I didn't want to end it on that note. Honestly, I was getting nervous. Wait, can I tell you something really quick while we're on the water story?
Of course.
So I'm watching Survivor a bunch right now, and they literally are looking for people for the next season. And I'm like, I should go. And then they have these challenges in the water, and I'm like, oh my God, I would hate that. So I'm like internally torn between that looks really fun and like why wouldn't I do that, and like I hate water and like they also are like dying and have to like get their own food and it stresses me out, but I think it's fun. But then there's water.
So no, there's water. Dude, I've seen so many things over the past week about the last episode that I feel like I've been sending memes like over
We
and
should
over
post
and
some
over
of the
again.
memes.
We should. Did you see the one that I sent to you?
Let me see.
Oh my God, I have to find it. It was about the Titanic though, which I thought was like, oh, fortuitous. Like, we're living in a fucking matrix. Which we'll talk about on another episode.
What kind of episode do you guys want to watch next week also, by the way? If you want to drop it and let us know. I mean, New World Order is obviously something we could chat about, but like, I sort of think it's fun when we go back and forth between like diverse topics for you guys.
I'd be saying long story short and then proceed to tell the double VHS Titanic version of the story.
I'm screwed, I didn't see it. If that ain't me though. I'm like, wait, I have this really quick thing to tell you. And then it's like
2 hours later, you're like, here it is.
Embarrassing.
So the fun thing that I'll leave you guys on with the Denver International Airport, when I visited, And like I said, I think it was like 2016, maybe 2019 if we're getting real generous, but I'm pretty sure it was before that. It was before weed was pretty much legal everywhere.
Okay.
Right? And like Denver was the anomaly. That like weed had been legalized. It was perfect for infrastructure. By the way, Denver is the cleanest city I've ever been in.
Really?
In my entire life. And a lot of that lends to the fact that they legalized marijuana and used the tax from the marijuana to clean the city for their infrastructure.
Go marijuana.
Like, right? Like, legalize it everywhere.
Says June, who drinks.
Yeah. I mean, it's rare for your birthday I smoke weed.
Yes, you
right?
do. You do once in a while.
But every now and then I will partake.
Every now and again.
So at the...
Maybe you guys will get to see one time.
Maybe. It's a really interesting experience. You remember the first time I got high
I
around you? It was wild. So when you walk into the airport, there's this clear glass box that's like, if you purchased anything that's not legal in your state, please deposit it here. That box has sat empty since they opened.
Dude, one time I think it was California, I saw one of those boxes. I'm like, what idiot is dropping it in there? And then meanwhile, I'm going past the drug dogs and I'm like panicking that they're gonna sniff me. And I'm like, I just have to act confident. I love dogs.
I mean, not when it's,
They didn't get me.
Not when it's in their own state. Like, they don't care what you do.
No, I was leaving the
I know,
state,
same.
And I was going somewhere that was not allowed.
I shoved mine in, in my makeup bag and just was like, no one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know?
I make my bag a mess on purpose, and one time, it's horrible. One time, when I was leaving Mexico or going to Mexico, I got pulled as the person that they were going to search, and there's just like dirty all my underwear on the top, like that I've worn. Like I put all my dirty stuff on top. It's like disgusting. And people are like digging through it. They hardly go through my stuff. It's honestly a life hack. It's a disgusting fun life
I've actually seen this happen in person too, so I can verify.
I'm like here's
IRL.
all my dirty stuff, and I'm gonna put it on top because don't pick me. And then they pick me.
Don't pick me.
And I'm like, I told you not to pick me. I'm like, I was not the one to pick. I am not that girl that like has her stuff all nicely folded or dirty things in a bag. That's not it. You picked the wrong one. So
you picked the wrong one. And I am not the one.
When this happens, I'm like, honestly, this is horrible for me. So like, here you are, embarrassing, but
embarrassing for them.
It is embarrassing.
Not for you,
I'm
for
like,
them.
I won't even see you again.
Right,
like, I'm out. I'm trying to leave.
Dude, I really think that we should take a trip to Colorado and just like live stream us being in the airport.
Dude.
It would be the quickest live stream ever because I think you would be scared.
They'd probably come after us, dude. They came after the kid TikToking and knew exactly who he was. Are you kidding me? We're gonna get scanned in and then they're gonna know who we are. They're gonna pull up our account. They're gonna come up to us like they did them and they're gonna be like, stop filming and leave.
Hate it. Hate it a lot.
Horrible.
So that is the Denver International Airport. And honestly, like, fully believe all of it because there's just so many pieces at play here.
Yeah, I want to know if you guys, like, don't believe this. Like, does anyone not believe it?
How could you not? Also,
I don't know. There's just so much here.
Like I said, though, this is one of those, like, underground conspiracy theories. You only know if you know.
I get what you mean.
Because I had someone DM my Gin and Ghouls page and was like, what are you guys talking about this week? And she's a friend of mine. So I was like, on the DL, we're talking about DIA. And she's like, what do you mean? What is that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was like...
I'm excited. People have never heard of this at all. Like, I was, like, newer to it. Like, I definitely didn't know as much as June. But I knew a lot of things. Like, I knew there was a lot of weird things. I knew lightly about some of them. Like, I mean, just with looking at some of this, if you guys Google that, what is that, Lucifer? It looks...
horrifying.
Yeah, like you could just look at it and know that there's probably some sort of a problem going on.
There's something nefarious going on with that. So
crazy.
Yeah. So if you were listening on Spotify, thanks for listening. If you were watching on YouTube, you got to see our reactions IRL. And you got to watch us drink mimosas and get high. Tiva got high. I did not. Like I said, that'll be for a rainy day.
for a rainy day. Stay tuned for the next rainy day.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to check us out on Instagram, it's xfatedpod, Jen and Ghouls, Tiva Tokes, and otherwise check us out on YouTube. We
and
love our
TikTok.
YouTube. We're on TikTok too. It's Xfaded Pod all over the place.
X-Faded
And if
Pod.
you're interested in us, it's Jen and Ghouls and Tiva Tokes. P.S. It's my dog's birthday today. He's turning 3. He's so cute.
He's so cute.
And I think on my Tiva account, I'm going to post a video. I think I'm going to do a vlog later with Polo making him a birthday cake. So
Cute.
Stay tuned.
So you faded?
I'm faded. I'm cheersing with you today.
Get the fuck
Hell
out.
yeah. Peace out.
Bye.
Later.